I'm Kate, and today I'm talking to the very lovely Bernie Perks about weight gain and anxiety in perimenopause, because I know it's a concern for lots of people. We were just chatting and saying it's a time of year for gathering things in. Bernie, can you say a bit about your gathering?
Oh yeah, I recently changed. Good morning, everybody, and morning, Kate. So I recently qualified as a herbalist, and I have been loving just collecting all the herbs from the garden that are going to make medicine. So I've got some feverfew, some yarrow, some daisies, some rosemary, and all putting it in little jars at the moment. So this time of year, I love autumn. I'm really looking forward to making medicine with the herbs.
And this has a direct relationship to what we're talking about today.
Sure.
Because perimenopause is an autumnal season, and what Bernie's describing, that gathering in of the goodness and the nourishment and the plant medicine from her garden, is exactly what perimenopause is asking us to do in our lives, to call in all the goodness that we've had in our lives and to let go. I mean, this is later, it's August as we speak, so let go in this autumn. What am I talking about? Later in this autumn, we'll be letting go. We'll be sort of burning leaves and clearing and doing that kind of thing. And that's the other aspect of perimenopause, is the letting go of things that don't serve us, the gathering in of the goodness in late summer. So we're really validated, that we really know what our self-care is, we really know our worth. And then there's so this is my worth, so actually I don't need this thought pattern, that relationship, this kind of behavior, and we can let that stuff go.
Yeah.
The anxiety and the weight gain are two of the symptoms that happen when we are unable to let go.
Yeah.
When we can't really take in the goodness of who we are, and nor can we let go. And in real life, this is tough. this is big girl pants stuff, really big girl pants, tricky stuff, particularly in our world. And it's really important to remember that our lives are like 1,000% busier than our mothers were.
Yeah. And sometimes it creeps up on you completely. You're unaware of what's going on in the menopause. So I love the fact that when I read your book for the first time, and that you liken the perimenopause stage, the menopause, going through the menopause and postmenopause, to the seasons, and cyclical living is great to have more information. So I love the fact that you elaborate so much on that, and then you go into the way that autumn is the separation of the life, and how you turn inwards to some more.
And one of the other aspects of autumn, of perimenopause, is that we're very sensitized, and this comes as a shock. We're more sensitive to emotions, to feelings. Often food allergies and intolerance comes up, like intolerance to other people.
Certainly.
Face, like no space is big enough to separate me from you. That comes up a lot. And it's such a relief to know that this is normal. This is what is supposed to happen.
Yeah.
That we become sensitized to our needs and sensitized to our wounds. So people will find that old resentments from the past are turning up. That any kind of toxicity, really, that's going on in your life, in relationships, from stuffing down feelings with food and alcohol, and we'll come to that. Toxicity of overgiving, something that we're probably all familiar with in ourselves and our friends. And the toxicity of not putting yourself first, our own needs first, will all become very, very present to you. And this is a transition. It passes.
It does.
We're not stuck like this.
Yeah, yeah. And it's such a hard time for so many people, because quite often people have got children who are growing into adults. They may be going to university, they may be leaving home for the first time just as perimenopause is hitting.
Or
So,
you might have little kids.
yeah, you could well have little kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, I certainly was trying for little kids as I entered the perimenopause, but yeah, a little bit late for me. But that was how my life journey was. I got married in my 40s, and wasn't even thinking about children before I got married. It's like it just never came on my pathway, and yeah, obviously then it was too late. So I was like fully just going into the perimenopause stage, and I was like, oh, okay, what's happening? I thought this could carry on like I had in my 20s till I was like, I don't know, an old lady. So yeah, it does hit you and creeps up on you. And the advice, I love your book Second Spring is just sort of like an encyclopedia. So it's like got so much with all the different meditations, the yoga nidras, the advice that you can ask the doctor when you're going to find out about your menopause. If you go to a GP, you advise the list of questions. I love that. So yeah, I just love the way you've encompassed everything in the book.
Thank you. Yeah, I couldn't stop. It's like, oh, I've got to put that in as well.
You got to.
Oh, another one. And they were like,
yeah,
I've got to edit this down, Kate. It's like, it's got to be in there.
Yeah.
But there were really one of the reasons that Bernie and I are talking this morning is because we have a retreat day in Shrewsbury on the 4th. No, not the 4th.
7th of October.
Yeah. 7th of October.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to go into a sort of more personalized sort of prescription. That sounds awful, but like really, if you want personalized kind of support for your whatever you're dealing with, then please come there and we can work together.
Yeah.
I really wanted to talk about the food and why this happens. So we're in this sensitized state, and we're stressed, and we have no time, and we haven't prioritized ourselves. So the thing that we reach for is the things that feel good, which are food.
Yeah.
Which are your favorite version of refined carbs, whatever that is, and sugar and alcohol, and because it's just available, it's just there, and it just gets us through. And when we're angry and we can't express it because of our work situation or our family situation, we eat.
Yes.
And unfortunately, our comfort contributes to the problem, because it contributes to an unstable blood sugar. So when your blood sugar will peak and you'll be in high cortisol. And the body is very sensitive to cortisol in perimenopause. So you will feel extra stressed. Then your blood sugar crashes, and the same thing happens.
Yeah, and
your mood will be upping and downing with this.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. And it can happen, the sugar spikes can happen as you're going to bed as well. So if you're eating late, it's just your whole sleep's disrupted as well. And that helps to exacerbate anxiety, because you're up half the night, you're not getting enough sleep, you're worrying. You may even get up in the middle of the night. I know I certainly did, going through the perimenopause, and just have another snack to make it even worse.
Yeah.
So,
but it's there's no judgment here, because we haven't really been trained to put our needs first. Nobody educated us about compassion. Nobody educated us about how to express our needs in a relationship. Here we are, we're in our 40s and 50s, and we have to figure this stuff out for ourselves, and it's hard. It's hard changing patterns in our relationships and in our work lives. It's really hard. Yeah. So don't worry, we have self-care for you and solutions for you that aren't about don't go on a diet. Like just don't calorie count and don't go on a diet,
No.
because that just adds more to the self-hatred and the stress.
Yeah. And I love your vitamin P. Who
That's in the
knew about
self-care.
vitamin
What's
P?
vitamin P, Bernie?
You tell them all about your wondrous vitamin P, Kate.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So vitamin P is about pleasure. So this may well be orgasm if that's within your capacity at the moment. But what my proposal is to dose yourself regularly with pleasure as a kind of, as you would take a multivitamin in the morning. And this is your own kind of pleasure. So it might be, you might be a person who loves, I'm stroking my plant here. Just after I talked about orgasm, just to be clear, I'm stroking the plant. I've got to show you the plant. See, right. We are live on FaceAche, darling. So textural pleasures, or listening to music, or watching a funny movie, or kitten. God help us. I mean, you know, screens are killing us, but watching kittens and baby animals on your screen,
yeah,
that can be a pleasure too. Whatever is available to you in the moment. And this is all stuff that we do anyway, but we tend to leave until we're like right on the edge and about to fall off. But what I'm suggesting is that you make this a daily priority, to chat to your friends, to whatever it is that you do to bring pleasure. And the reason for this is that it gives you all, I mean, it's hilarious, it's all the benefits that you would want from a menopause medicine. It reduces your blood pressure, it balances your hormones, it supports your immune system, it even supports bone health. It does all these, you know, it does all these things and more. So obviously mental health, it improves your mental health to be laughing, to be in a state of pleasure. It improves your relationships because you'll be having more oxytocin in the system. So it has all these benefits. And yet we say, oh no, I'll just leave that until after I've done, you know, this mountainous to-do list.
Yeah,
So
and you can have tiny snippets of pleasure. You can just, you know, getting outside and sinking your feet in the earth in first thing in the morning and just wandering around your garden 2-3 minutes, and those little things start your day off with some pleasure and laughter. Getting together with your friends, being the brave one who suggests, actually, I'm struggling in menopause, and talking to your peers. I found that since starting the Moan or Pause group in Shrewsbury.
I love that name so much. Moan or Pause.
Yeah, my little menopause
Brilliant.
cafe a couple of months ago, that the ladies that come have all been from different walks of life. They've all had their stages of menopause. There's some of them are just starting, some of them are now through the other side, but their experiences and the things that we're talking about, we just end up laughing so much and eating cake. That's, you know, we've got to have pleasure.
But if you're eating cake with pleasure and not feeling stressed, that is far better than choking on buckets of broccoli in a manic stressed state while you're scrolling or watching news.
And going to make you like just hate vegetables because you're just really thinking
the way that you eat. I mean, and this is one of the other things that I wanted to bring in, that the way that you eat is as important as what you're eating. So eating slowly without a screen or a distraction, to really taste what you're eating, and chewing your food a lot, and taking pleasure in your food and making it look beautiful, supports gut health. And you know, we don't have time to go into gut flora today, but your gut health is just so crucial for hormone balance, for weight, for everything, for mental health, for everything. So before you start thinking about what you eat, slow it down and take pleasure in the cake, in the whatever. You know, if you're eating the donut, then just bloody have the donut, have all the pleasure of that sugary gooey. You know, why would you? We choke it down from shame.
Yeah.
But my suggestion is that we take it with all the pleasure, take all the pleasure we possibly can.
Yeah.
I wanted to say something about moving as well, that, you know, when we're exhausted, you know, I'm speaking as someone who used to lie on the floor in yoga weeping quietly.
Oh.
And if your yoga teacher doesn't allow you to weep on the floor, then find another class, because this is like central to the healing. It's really hard to know how much to do, because to be stationary, to sit all day,
Yeah.
will worsen your hormone balance and make your symptoms worse. So we need to move. We need to move somehow.
Yeah.
We need to move in a way that is pleasurable for our bodies. And I'm going to shamelessly steal this from one of my clients, because they're like the smartest people on the planet. And she says that she wakes up in the morning and she says, she asks her body, what do you need from me today?
That's great.
You know, that's like a 1 minute bit of mindfulness.
Yeah.
Where she can feel into, do I want to go out for a brisk walk in the morning, or shall I have a little stretch? And it may be that there are days when you can do a cardio thing, or a stronger weight thing, or whatever, or the things, you know, that those kind of more energetic practices. But it's really important to allow yourself to rest and manage your stress response, because the body, when you're doing hard cardio, the body feels it as stress. It's good stress.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
It's activating active, good, healthy stress. But if you're exhausted and your hormones are fluctuating a lot, then that might not be so helpful. It might be more helpful for you to do something that is restful and soothing. Actually, it's certainly more helpful for you to do something
Definitely. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
restful and soothing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, good advice, definitely. And there'll be much more of it on the day retreat that we're running.
Yeah.
I don't think you've been to Shrewsbury. Shrewsbury's such a lovely, lovely town. We're so blessed with the Quarry Park and the lovely Dingle, which has the goddess
You've got a
Sabrina.
dingle?
Oh yeah, the
I
Dingle.
want to visit the dingle.
Oh, it's we've got a very famous flower show, which was the week before last, I think, and the Dingle is a beautiful flower garden in the middle of the Quarry Park with the goddess Sabrina in there. So and then we've got, it's just such a lovely town with the lot of culture and coffee shops and lovely restaurants and
Right.
yoga studios, and you'll love it, Kate. So I can always give people tips on accommodation as well if it's a little bit far for them to travel. We've got the days taking place in Jenna Blay Yoga Studio in Bellevue area of Shrewsbury. And this is where I'm based as well. My business, Naturally Radiant Wellbeing, is above the studio at Jenna's studio, and we'll be holding the day retreat in the studio. And then lots of yummy food, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free options, any lactose intolerances or intolerances, they're all be catered for. And so there'll be lots of delicious happenings.
And your website for booking?
The website for booking is naturallyradiantwellbeing.co.uk, and that is
when is it?
7th of October, Saturday the 7th of October, 10 till 5. And yes, I'm a reflexologist, a masseuse, and a Reiki trained facilitator as well. So facials, everything like that. So I've been a holistic therapist for about 20 years. So I mainly advise people when they're going through their menopause to have reflexology is one of the real benefits that I found is so great for every part of the mind, the body, and the emotions, really. So I'll be talking more about that on the retreat. And
We talk more about anxiety as well, haven't we?
yeah. Yeah,
The food took over. Isn't that interesting?
yeah, the food did.
I think I just want to close the food by saying that your diet is to rest, to build a connection, to ask yourself what you need, because you know already, but also slow down and do your emotional work. So when you notice you're eating because you have an emotion that is uncomfortable for you, to gently investigate into the emotion rather than shoving the food in your mouth. Or if you do shove the food in your mouth, eat it slowly. There's a lot of anxiety gone already, because
shove it in, keep it in there a bit longer, and chew it well.
Yeah, that would cover it.
Yeah, that would.
So there is a hormonal aspect to the anxiety, where this fluctuation can suddenly bring on anxiety that didn't exist before.
Yeah.
And this very much relates back to what I was saying at the beginning about autumn being this time when we are highly sensitized. If you're sensitive already, you will be more sensitive through your transition.
For sure.
If you are neurodiverse, you will have have sensory sensitivities. You will be much more, like 100 times more sensitive.
It's hard.
It's very hard.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to care for yourself, and the primary requirement for perimenopause is to slow down.
Yeah.
I can hear you going, no, Kate, we can't do that. You don't understand and I get that, because my life is has been very, very intense.
Yeah.
So what I'm suggesting is that you build in, just as Bernie brilliantly recommended earlier, pockets of rest.
Mm-hmm.
So there will be places where you can lock the, in an emergency, lock the door and sit on the loo for an extra minute. You have, those apps, what they call, there are loads of meditation apps you can find on your phone, and do a breathing exercise for a minute or two to buffer out the chaos.
Yeah, and just being
sorry, go on.
a little bit longer. If you really are so pushed for time, even getting up 10 minutes earlier, or spending, rather than rushing. I've always been one that sort of leaves everything to the last minute, but now I find I do allow myself 10 or 15 minutes longer if I'm preparing for something, because you just got to give yourself time to get that glass of water, time to check your breathing. With energy work, being a therapist, I always check in with myself before I start a treatment on each new client. So I have to give myself that breathing time to get myself into the right space. So if I can do it for other people, why not do it for myself? So it's a good habit to get into.
Yeah, absolutely. Bedtime routine, that's a good one. Creating stability. So we have these suggestions, but I always come from a place that you already know what works for you. If you like to have what time your ideal bedtime is, and what you need to do before then to calm everything down. So we don't need to tell you about that, and it would be kind of rude if we were telling you what to do. I hate being told what to do. You already know how to create more soothing in your life. So if you are listening to this, take a moment to jot down 2 things that you do that soothe you in your life. And that might be sort of going out in the garden and looking at the flowers, or hugging yourself a bit, or whatever it is. And how can you weave more of that in your life? I am going to tell you what to do now. So inconsistent and paradoxical. Protein is a really good thing, but for both areas, both the food, for both the weight and for anxiety, to have regular protein. So it's more than you would expect, and we need more now at this time of life than we did before. So whatever protein appeals to you, that is really important to have a bit of protein.
And I think with the menopause, we are actually able to access a lot of things that we were never able to 10-15 years ago, either, you know, on social media or through the internet anyway. But I think with your book, the amount of learning in there, I honestly keep going back to it. It's always with me, and I'm just, this is Kate's book in case anybody.
That's okay. Second frame.
And it will be, I've got like my little post-it notes. It will be something that Kate will be really going back to in the day retreat that we're doing, because I found that I read the book when I was post-menopause, so I'd already got to my second spring when I started reading the book. So I now think, oh, I missed out on those lovely things I could have been doing in my autumn and my winter. So I actually go back to them and I do them anyway, because I'm like, why did I just glide through? I mean, I was supported very much by herbs and reflexology throughout my menopause, and managed it as naturally as I could. But if I'd have known half the things that you'd written in this book when I needed them, I would have been so, you know, happy to have had this book and had your information. So with you doing a whole day in Shrewsbury for the people of Shrewsbury and the wider audience, anyone wanting to travel hour and a half, you're well worth your while, I would say. Come, I was just so excited to have you with us, Kate.
Oh, thank you. I'm really looking forward to it, and I love what you're saying about using these things in your second spring, because one of the points of developing self-care in your perimenopause and in your menopause is to carry that on through into the second half of your life.
Yeah,
because we are aging and we're living in vulnerable bodies, and this expectation that we should continue to go at 100 miles an hour and multitasking and, you know, never putting ourselves first is just completely unreasonable. So if we don't change the script about our own value through perimenopause, then when are we going to do it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Kate's big finger. Anyway, back to anxiety. I wrote notes for this, so that's why I'm like, can we check? Can I just say something else? I wrote notes, so there's another thing I'd really like to offer as a possibility to work with your anxiety. First, that it's part of this sensitization process that is asking you to take care of yourself, but to really take it seriously, to when you have anxious and repetitive thoughts and body symptoms, to take it seriously and to consider dialoguing with that anxious part of yourself. So instead of pushing it away, saying, oh, that's so stupid and that's not true and I have to get on, and like trying to squash them. We know what happens when we try and squash voices. It just doesn't work because they pop up again.
Yeah.
But you can do it with a journal, or you could do it out loud. You know, join the crazy talking to themselves community. Like we're here, and to really listen to your concern. So if the voice is saying, you're a failure and everybody knows it and everybody's laughing at you and blah 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 blah, that kind of thing, really writing that down and saying, tell me more about this frightened person, to really invite that in, and then respond not from a fearful place, but from a place of kindness, like a place of strength in yourself that says, is that really true? And what do you need? So if you feel this way, how can I support you? And what do you need from me? And really get curious and interested in what unfolds. So this is going underneath the surface into the sort of misty world of unconscious processes.
Like you'd speak to a best friend.
And you can talk to your friends. Yeah.
Like well, I'm saying how you would speak to yourself.
I see.
Sort of advice you'd be giving your best friend. How can I help you? How can I do? So being kind to yourself as you would be kind to others.
Yeah, and there's something about the respect, I think, also that these sorts of processes bring, talking to yourself as you would your friend, really listening to that scared place that really speaks of self-respect. And that's something that we often, squish ourselves in.
Yeah, we've paid far too much attention to our inner critic, just saying, oh, just get on with it. Why are you so
I think your inner critics and mine have a little chat. It's like, yeah, let's get on with it. You should. They're all sitting around having cups of tea going, yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
But I'd like to close with an invitation for you to think about, an invitation for you to commit to choosing one thing that will soothe you today. One thing. So that could be just a 30-second thing, like a tiny little thing that you can do that will soothe yourself.
One of your yoga nidras is going to be my choice.
Yeah, I do have a lot of, if you're curious about that, I have a big fat resource library of meditation and nidra and other practices on my site, which you can just go and rummage through the library and see what would suit you. But I very much hope to see you on the 7th in Shrewsbury. Say it right, Kate.
Well, honestly, you can say it however you like. We've
really?
got, yeah. They say, some people say, oh, if they were born here, they say it this way. Say this. No.
Okay.
Everything goes.
I'll see you there then.
Yeah. I'll be there. Yeah, we really look forward to those of you that have already booked, and those of you that will be having the opportunity to book. And yeah, we'd love to see you.
Yeah, and if you have questions, then feel free to contact me.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye-bye. See you, Benny.
Take care. Lovely to see you. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.